Welcome to Technocrat Warrior. I'm Timir Das, and today we are going to do something that most beginners never actually do. We are going to look on how to build a real project. This is not a theory session, but a slide-by-slide concept overview. A working end-to-end solution cloud project using Azure Function and Power Platform. We'll see it in this video or in some other videos, upcoming videos as well. And we are going to do it without spending a single rupee. The project is called as Student Project Submission Logger. By the end of this video, you will have a working cloud function, a storage system in the Azure, and automation flow, all connected and tested. And you will also get an idea about how to build it. You will also know how to put this on GitHub in a way that actually looks professional. So if you have been sitting at the fence, watching courses but not building anything, today is the day that changes. Let us get started. Let me ask you something honestly. How many courses have you started in last 6 months? How many YouTube playlists have you saved? How many roadmaps have you bookmarked? Now, how many projects you have actually built and put on GitHub? If the question makes you uncomfortable, you are not alone. Most students who are learning cloud data and software development get stuck in the loop. They watch, they take the notes, they understand the concept in their head, but they never build anything that exists outside their laptop. The problem is not motivation. The problem is that most tutorials stops at theory. They explain what Azure functions are. They show you in the portal, but they never walk you through building something end to end that can actually show something. This is exactly the gap this video is designed to fix. Here is something I want you to think about. A certificate tells someone that you once passed a test. A project tells someone that you know how to solve a problem. When you build even a small project, working project, you demonstrate things that certificate alone cannot show. You show that you can set up a cloud environment. You show that you can connect different services together. You show that when something goes wrong, you can troubleshoot and fix it. And you show that you can document it whenever what you built so someone else can understand it. These are the skills that matter in real world. Now I want to be honest with you. This is a beginner project. It will not land you into a job on its own. It will not guarantee interview calls, but it gives you something real to talk about, something real to show. And most importantly, it gives you the confidence that you can actually build, and that confidence compound over time. One project leads to another, one skill built on the next. This is your starting point. Let me walk you through what are we actually building today in plain language. We have three main components working together. The first, Power Automate. Think of a Power Automate as the person who receives a form, reads it, and know where to send it. In our project, it acts as a front door. It receives the trigger or collects input and send it to next layer. In second is the Azure function. This is small piece of code that lives in cloud. It does not run all the time. It only wakes up when it receives a request. When Power Automate sends data to it, the function needs the data, reads the data, does some processing, and prepares it for storage. The third component is Azure Blob storage, where our data is stored. Think of it as cloud-based folder. The function takes the process data and save it there as a file. So the flow is simple. Input comes through Power Automate. It gets sent to Azure function. The function processes it and saves it to result to blob storage. Clean, practical, and beginner friendly. Before we go further, I want to address the zero investment claim in the video title. And I want to be completely honest to you about what that means. When I say zero rupee investment, means Azure provides a free account with free monthly limit and a trial period that allows you to explore many services without paying. Azure functions have a generous free monthly execution limit. Blob storage has free tier as well. If you are careful, this entire project can stay within those limits. However, and this is very important, that does not mean unlimited free usage. If you run this in a loop, create thousands of files, or leave service running without monitoring them, the cost can accumulate. So the first thing you are going to do is create an Azure account, set the budget alert, This takes 2 minutes and protects you from the surprises. Similarly, Power Automate has a free tier for personal usage and certain connectors, but premium connectors, enterprise features requires paid licenses. Whether the HTTP request action is available to you depends on your specific tenant license and type of account you are using. I will mention this again when I reach that slide. Please verify your own license situation before assuming access. This project is intended to learning and portfolio building. It does not production deployment. Do not treat it as one. Let us take a quick look at each component we are working today, so you know what you are dealing with before we start. Azure Function is a serverless compute service. Serverless does not means that there is no server. It means Microsoft manages the server for you. You only write the code. The function creates will trigger function create will trigger you the this will trigger the serverless. Yeah, function is a serverless compute. Serverless doesn't mean that no server is there. It means Microsoft manages the server for you. It only writes the code. The function we will create will trigger by an HTTP request, which means any system that can send web requests can call it. This is the foundation of API-based integration. Azure Blob Storage is Microsoft's object storage service. It is designed for stored unstructured data, file image, log, JSON, document. In our project, we will store each submission as a file in the container. Power Automate is a Microsoft low-code automation platform. It lets you to build workflow that connects different app and services. For this project, it plays a role of the trigger and the connector that will call our function, Azure function. GitHub is where we package and publish everything. A good GitHub repository with a clear README turns your local project into a portfolio asset. Each of these tool has a own learning path. Today we are going wide, connecting them all at beginner level. Later videos will go deep into each one. Let me walk you through the architecture one step at a time, following the data as it moves through our system. Step one, the user in our scenario, a student, submits information. This could be name, project title, and a timestamp. Power Automate receives this input. Step 2, Power Automate formats this input into a structured JSON payload, sends it to Azure function using an HTTP request. The URL of the function app is an endpoint Power Automate calls. Step 3, Azure function receives the HTTP request. It reads the request body, validates the data, and then executes the blob logic. It constructs a file name using the student name and timestamp, so every file is unique. Step 4, function writes the file to our Azure Blob storage container. The file is a simple JSON document containing the submission detail. Step 5, the function returns an HTTP 200 response with confirmation message. Power Automate receives this response and the flow completes. That is the entire architecture, 5 step. Each one is teachable, testable, and understandable at the beginner level. Every project needs a real world scenario to anchor it. Otherwise, it is called code in the vacuum. Our scenario today, it is student project submission logger. Imagine a college or a training institute wants a simple way to log student project submission. When a student submits their project, a record should be automatically created and stored in the cloud with the student's name, the project name, and the submission timestamp. This is a completely real use case. Many educational institute, bootcamp, and training program handle submission tracking through manual spreadsheet or email. This project automates that store it centrally and can be extended later. For our purpose today, and the data is today the data is simple: student name, project title, submission time. The function will receive this data, create a JSON file, and store it in the blob storage with a unique file name on the student name and timestamp. This gives us a meaningful story to tell in our README, in an interview, or in a portfolio. It is not a toy. It is a simplified but a realistic automation. Before we build anything, we need to get our Azure environment ready. Let me walk you through this responsibly. If you have not already have an Azure account, you can create your account at portal.azure.com. Microsoft offers a free account that includes access to many services with monthly free limit. Some services also have trial credit when you first sign up. Check the official Microsoft free account page for most current detail. I will link it in the description. If you already have an existing subscription through your college employer or a Visual Studio subscription, use that. Just make sure you understand the cost implication before creating a new resource. Once you are in the portal, the very first thing I want you to do is to set budget alert. Go to cost management, create a budget, set it to low limit, even 50 rupees, and add your email as alert recipient. This takes 2 minutes and protects you from any accidental spending. Next, we will use a clear, consistent naming convention for everything we create. This makes cleanup very easy when projects are done. The first resource we create is a resource group. I want to explain why it is very important for beginner. In Azure, a resource group is a logical container that holds all the resources of the project. Think of it as a project folder in the cloud. Every resource we create today, the storage account, the function app, the app service plan will go inside this resource group. Why does this matter? Because when you are done learning or when you want to clean up, you can delete the entire resource group with one single action. Everything inside it get deleted together. There is no there This means no orphaned resource accidentally running in your account and generating cost. Create your resource group with a clear name. I recommend something like rg-student logger dev. And the rg prefix means resource group. The name describes the project. The dev suffix indicates the development environment. Choose the region closest to you and your users. For Indian users, Central India or South India are the good option. Verify current region availability in the portal. Every beginner project should start with a dedicated resource group. Get into the habit from day one itself. Now let's create a storage. In Azure, we start with a storage account. This is the parent container for all storage services inside it. Go to Azure portal, search for storage account, create a new one inside your resource group. Give it a global unique name. Storage account name must be all lowercase, between 3 and 24 character, and unique across all Azure. Something like stu student logger 2026 works as well. Use LRS redundancy for this project, locally redundant storage, which is most cost effective option for development environment. Once the storage account is created, navigate into it and create container. A container in the blob storage is like a subfolder. We will create one called submission. This is where our function will save files. Now this is very much critical. Set the container access level to private. Do not make it public unless you have a specific reason to it. In a learning project, you have no reason to expose your data publicly. Each file saved in the container is called a blob. Our function will create one blob per submission. Save as JSON file. For example, submission underscore Rahul underscore 2026-07-05-T1130.json. Now we are going to get into the heart of our project, the Azure function. In the Azure portal, search for function app and create a new one inside your resource group. Choose a runtime as .NET Core, which is a good beginner choice. Select the consumption plan as your hosting plan. This is the pay per execution plan where Azure only charges you when your function actually runs. And there is the very generous free monthly allocation for execution. Once the function is created, create a new function inside it. Select HTTP trigger as a trigger type. An HTTP trigger means your function will be invoked whenever someone sends a HTTP request to the URL, just like visiting a website. Set the authorization to function. This means callers need to pass a function key to invoke it. It is not an enterprise grade security, but it is the appropriate level access control for learning projects. Once created, Azure will give you a function app URL. This URL is what Power Automate or Postman or any HTTP client will call or to trigger your function. Copy the URL, you will need it. At this point, you will have a real API endpoint living in your cloud. This is genuine something to be proud about. Now let us write a blob. Let us write the core logic of our function. What does the function actually do when it receives a request? Step 1, it reads the incoming request body. Body will contain a JSON object with the student name, project title, and a submission timestamp. Step 2, it validates that request field are present. If any field is missing, it returns a HTTP 400 bad request response with a clear error message. Step 3, it constructs a unique file name using a student name and the current timestamp. This ensures no two submission overwrites each other. Step 4, it connects to Azure Blob storage and write the JSON data as a new blob file in the submission container. Step 5, it returns an HTTP 200 OK response with a confirmation message. This is important security reminder of this entire video. Do not hard code your storage account, string, or any secret directly in the function code. Use Azure function application setting to store secret. Your code reads the value from the environment, not from the source file. If you push hard coded secret to GitHub, this is a serious security risk. I repeat, this is one common mistake. This is the common mistakes which slides. Now let us talk about Power Automate. And I want to be very transparent with you before we proceed. Power Automate is Microsoft workflow automation project. For this project, it will play a role of trigger that collects input and calls Azure function using an HTTP request. To create a cloud flow in Power Automate, you need to access make.powerautomate.com. Whether you have access to a free account, trial, or a paid license depends entirely in your situation. For many students, a Microsoft 365 personal account, a school account, or a Microsoft developer program account may be given to access Power Automate. Here is important clarification. The HTTP action in Power Automate, which allows you to call external URL like Azure function, may be classified as a premium connector in some context. Access to premium connector depends upon your specific license. Tenant configuration, please verify this before assuming you have access. I will link the Power Automate license page in the description. If you do not have access to HTTP action in Power Automate, do not stop here. You can test Azure function directly using Postman or Thunder Client or SOAP API, both of which are absolutely free. This proves that your function works end to end. Power Automate becomes an integrated extension that demonstrates conceptually or test if you gain access later. For those who do have access to Power Automate, create a new cloud flow with a manual trigger or a form submission trigger. Add an HTTP action, set method to post, paste the Azure function URL, add JSON property to the student name, project title, and timestamp. Run the flow and check the blob container. This is the most satisfying part of the entire build. Actually see it work. Let us run through end to end. First, prepare the sample JSON payload, something like this. That is something like your uh, Rahul Sharma project title is weather dashboard app. Submission time is today's date time in ISO format. Send this payload to the Azure function using Postman, Thunder Client, or Power Automate, whichever option is available to you. If you are using Postman, create post request in to your function URL. Set the content type header to application JSON, paste it in your JSON payload, hit send. Watch the response. You should receive an HTTP 200 OK with a confirmation message from your function. Now go to the Azure portal, navigate to the storage account, open the submission container and look for a new file. There should be it should be there, name with the student name and timestamp. Click on the file, download it, open it. You will see the original JSON that was submitted. If you see the file, congratulations, you have built and tested your first cloud integration project. Everything connected and it is working. Build a project is only half the job. The other half is packaging it for useful to someone else and impressive to the recruiter or reviewer. Create a public GitHub repository. The name should be clear, student submission, Logger Azure, or similar. The repository should contain function code, a sample payload, JSON file, and README. The README is very much important. It should contain what the project does and simple architecture diagram. Even as a text-based ASCII diagram is fine at the stage. The component use and why step-by-step setup instruction for someone else to replicate. Your project and section explain how to test it. The limitation of the project, for example, this is the learning project not intended for production use or any cost warning. Take screenshot of the blob container, show the generated file, include this in the readme or in the screenshot folder. Document the fact and the secret must be not be hard coded and explain how the application settings for the configuration. A well documented GitHub repository demonstrate a professional habit. It tells interviewer that profession person thinks about maintaining clarity and collaboration. That matters. Let us take a moment to recognize what you have actually learned by building this project or when we are going to build this particular project because it is more than it looks. Serverless compute. You now understand what serverless means in practice. You will create a function, give it a trigger, and it will run without managing any server infrastructure. API fundamentals. Your function has an HTTP endpoint. You send a post request to it. You handle the request body and return a response. These are the building block of how the internet works. The cloud storage, you create a cloud storage configured a container, manage access level, and store file programmatically. This concept appears in almost every cloud project. Automation workflow, your experience or explored, Power Automate is an integration tool that connects systematic system without writing complex code. Troubleshoot, every small thing that went wrong during the setup and testing taught you some will teach you something. This problem solving process itself is a skill. Document, write a clear readme is a professional skill. Most beginner developer do not bother. You will do. This is a genuine skill. It is a starting point, not a finishing line. And I'll be posting the GitHub, my GitHub public URL so that you can refer this particular project for your readiness. Why we want to build today is not just for a standalone project. It is a foundation for the power platform ecosystem, and I want to show you what the future looks like. Right now, our submission logger receives data from Power Automate and stores it to blob storage, but this architecture is extendable. In future iteration, you could add Power Apps front end, a simple form that student fills out and trigger the automation. That removes the need of Postman entirely. You can also replace blob storage with Dataverse or more structured relational database storage and integrate natively with Power Platform services. You can add AI Builder to extract information from uploaded document automatically. I'm mentioning all this as a future roadmap, not something we are immediately starting implementing today. This project is just a foundation, just a demo. Each of this edition is a separate build we will cover in future videos in series. The key message is what you build today is not a dead end. An, it is an on ramp. Let me talk to you about how this project connects to your broader learning and certification landscape. And I want to be careful to be accurate here. AZ900, the Azure Fundamental Certification, covers core cloud concept, Azure services, pricing, and governance. The service we are going to use today, or we will be putting in the upcoming videos, Azure Function, Blob storage are the part of Azure ecosystem that AZ900 introduced at the conceptual level. But this project will give you a practical context that concepts you will encounter while studying for AZ900. It support your understanding. I'm not claiming this project directly maps to a specific exam question. PL900, the Power Platform Fundamental Certifications, cover Power Automate, Power Apps, Dataverse, and related services. The Power Automate component of this project gives you practical exposure to concepts relevant to PL900 preparation. For those interested in AZ104 or more advanced administration certification, this project introduces resource group, storage account, serverless compute concept that build awareness in right direction. As for the applied skill and any ABC certification the Microsoft has introduced, please verify the current certification landscape at learn.microsoft.com before referencing specific credentials. Microsoft Learn catalog evolves, and I want to ensure any guidance I give is current and accurate. The honest framing it is this project builds your practical foundation, and this one piece of learning path is not the entire path. Before we wrap up the technical section, I want to talk about the most common mistake beginner makes when building their first cloud project. These are all avoidable if you know about them in advance. Mistake number one, not setting the budget alert. Like I have already told in the start of the video, this is a number one oversight. Without it, misconfiguration or accidental loop, you can generate unexpected charges. Set it before creating any resources. And you can set it to 50 rupees or 100 rupees based upon your requirement. Mistake number two, hard coding the secret. If storage connection string is directly in your code, you push the code to public GitHub repository, your credentials are exposed to the entire internet. Use environment variable always. Mistake number three, not documenting the project. Build something and not writing readme means project exists only in your machine, in your head. Document makes it shareable portfolio ready. Mistake number four, forgetting to delete unused resources. At the end of the learning session, delete the resource group if you do not need it longer. Remove all the associated resources, stop ongoing cost. Mistake number five, copying code without understanding it. Run copied code that works is not learning. If you cannot explain what section your function is doing, plain English, spend more time understanding it. In interview, you will ask you to explain your code. Mistake number six, ignoring error response. When something does not work, read the error carefully. Azure error messages are usually more informative. Do not try things randomly. Read, understand, and act. This project is a version 1, a complete beginner friendly first build, but there are clear and natural direction it evolves to evolve it. And I want to map them out for you. Upgrade number 1, add a Power App front end instead of using Postman to send data. Build a simple Power App form that student fills out. This makes the project usable by non-technical users. Upgrade number 2, replace blob storage with Dataverse. Dataverse gives you a structured relational data model that integrates deeply with your Power Automate services, Power Platform services. That makes querying and reporting much more easier. Upgrade number 3, implement managed identity instead of using connection string to connect your function app to storage. Use Azure managed identity. This is production grade keyless authentication approach. Upgrade number 4, add application insight. This is Azure monitoring services. It captures function execution log, performance metrics, and error traces. This is required by every real application. Upgrade number 5, implement GitHub action for CI/CD. Automate your deployment so that every push in your main branch automatically gets deployed and updated function code to the Azure function. It gives you DevOps skills. Upgrade number 6, add email notification, Power Automate or Azure communication services. Use them to send communication to student after submission is logged. Each of this upgrade is a separate video topic. Future episode in this series, we will cover them one by one. Let us recap what we were building today. We started with 3 Azure services, function app with HTTP trigger, storage account with a blobs container, and the concept of Power Automate with the automation layer. We wrote function that receives the JSON payload, validate it, construct a unique file name that saves the data as a file to blob storage. We will test the end-to-end flow using the HTTP client, confirm the function returns a 200 response, and verify the file appeared in the blob container. We will package the product in the GitHub with a README, architecture description, simple payload, setup steps, and documented limitations. The more information on the GitHub repository, I will post it in the video description. What you have now will be able to test, documented, portfolio ready cloud project. It is a beginner level. It is honest and it is real. The most important thing that you did not just watch it, we will be building it today, and that changes everything. Call to action. Here is your challenge this week. Build a project not tomorrow, this week. Set aside 2 or 3 hours, follow the steps, finish it based upon whatever GitHub project I am going to build, upload it for you. When you are done, upload it into GitHub, write a proper README, make it look professional. Then come back to the video and comment the word project. When you do this, I will know that you have actually built it, and I will try to respond to every single one of you. If you want the GitHub starter template of this build, comment the project. I will share the link. This will include the function app code structure, sample payload, and the README template so that you can focus on understanding rather than starting from scratch. If the video is useful to you, hit subscribe. Next video in this series will add Power App front end in the same project, and we will go further deep into creating each and every component one by one. And share this with your friend, one who's meaning to start but keep waiting in the right time. The right time is right now. Thank you for watching Technocrat Warrior. I am Temir Das. Go build something. All the tools and services we used in this video are documented by Microsoft. I have linked the official sources in the video description. Before you start, please visit those links, verify current free tier, license information, license requirement, service availability. These details can change. Always want to inform you that video is accurate to your specific situation. Do not rely solely on the video for cost and licensing decision. Read the official document. It is free, comprehensive, and most reliable source. All links are in the description. Take 2 minutes to check them before you begin.